Welcome back to my Cyberpunk Phantom Liberty reaction series. This time we're going to be watching the official trailer developer breakdown. For those who don't know, I am a developer. I'm not a games developer, I'm a web developer, but I love getting into the nitty-gritty of things with the devs. I follow so many of the devs on Twitter and love interacting with them and seeing the stuff that they put out about how things are made and details that you might have missed. But yeah, let's get into it. We've just watched the trailer for the first time, which you can watch in another video, but this is going to be the slightly longer developer breakdown.
Hello everyone!
It's Burza!
Recently, you saw the official trailer for Phantom Liberty.
We did, we just watched it.
We have a special treat. I sat down with narrative director Igor Sarzyński, and together we took a deep dive into some of the cool new stuff we showed off in the video. Awesome
okay, Burza, what you got for us?
Thankfully, I have narrative director Igor Sarzyński here with me. Igor, thank you for joining me.
Thanks for having me. Hey.
We'll be going clip by clip, and we'll be dissecting what we just saw. And we'll start with the setting, Dogtown. Looks like a lot of chaos, a lot of control maybe in this part of Night City, but tell me more.
Yeah, pretty right actually. Dogtown, formerly known as Combat Zone, but renamed to Dogtown by one
Combat Zone.
It's the guy who you saw on the billboard. He's current ruler of Dogtown, and this mix between.
This was the bit that I saw.
Protector.
Hang on, let's go back to that image. This is the image that I saw on the first teaser trailer, and I thought, oh, who's this guy? He looks hot, kind of like River. I hope I can romance him. And now he's the bad guy. Brilliant.
Tyrant, a protector, but first of all, a businessman. Our inspiration when creating Dogtown with its internal dynamics and politics, and also Kurt Hansen's character, were South American drug lords. Guys who invest into local communities, build schools, bridges, become those reverend figures, but actually at the same time to treat those communities as a cover-up to all their dirty, shady deals, drugs, weapons, you name it.
Caring for the community.
Yeah, caring for the community. Yeah, and this is exactly the case here. Kurt controls Dogtown, at least parts of it, using Barghest. Barghest is his military unit. It's like
so this is like their
gang,
cops.
Part military unit. Actually, it consists of both Militech soldiers from Kurt's unit who stayed behind in Night City during the last corporate war, decided not to come back home.
The corporate war is what we need to read about, because I'm not sure what that is.
Of like different gangers, marauders,
or what the consequences of it was.
Since then.
Interesting mix of people coming from different walks of lives.
Yeah, and they aren't exactly the most sorted out military unit.
This dude kind of looks like Kurt Hansen, no?
Things on their own, but for sure they all very much respect Kurt, and he's like where this, just.
He's the boss.
He's the boss. Dogtown itself is actually a very interesting place, full of contrasts. Is this weird mix of, as you said, like authority and anarchy. You have areas which are controlled by Barghest, and also like safe.
So Barghest is kind of like a new gang, right?
You can find, rave parties under the stars in other places. Other places are just so dangerous that almost no one goes there, and it's very easy to get killed there. Trauma doesn't come to Dogtown.
No trauma team.
Because it's too dangerous. Actually, the whole district was supposed to be this kind of like paradise, entertainment / casino, hotel strip. But the whole development was interrupted by the war. And now you have this.
I'm actually so excited to watch that lore video because I want to hear more about this war.
And this free trade is actually a big selling point of Dogtown, let's say, because it's a place free of corpos, but most importantly, free of corpo taxes.
No corpos!
So
we're not allowed there.
If you want to do some kind of deal, Dogtown is the place. On the black market here, you can find all kinds of stuff, from some weird tech you wouldn't find even in Kabuki as custom, custom cyberware, to stolen corporate equipment, to even if you are coming from a different part of the world and you need it for your internal needs, a tank. Yeah,
A tank?
would you like one?
Yeah, me totally. I could always.
No
use a
corpos
tank.
allowed, but you can
don't
buy a
get your hopes
tank.
up. You cannot buy a tank and go with Johnny and go to Arasaka Tower and destroy everything.
Oh, that
Don't
would
even
be
think
such a
about it.
cool
But it is a
ending.
place if you're in
Buy a tank,
pretty much in the market
storm
for something
Arasaka.
like this, you can get it.
Yep, this is the place.
Crazy, and also awesome at the same time. Let's move on. We're seeing a character appear.
Okay, this is
throughout
the president.
video, and she is called Myers. She seems to be a prominent figure. Like, what can you tell me about her, and what's her relationship to V, or the player in this case?
This is President Rosalind Myers,
President
of
Myers.
USA, right now in a bit of a pickle due to the crash landing of her Space Force One
Christ.
inside Dogtown.
I love that it's Space Force One, that's so
all
funny.
characters we try to create, we try to give them like different aspects to them, so they're just not like a function, you know, this is the president who gives orders, and we try to look for different like faces and aspects in Myers too.
Yeah.
So she's a former Marine, a soldier, a very
She looks like she's capable with a
she's
gun.
very capable. She's a badass actually, but
Oh, cool.
maybe even for her the whole Barghest forces and whole Dogtown against her is might be even too much for her. And this is where V comes in to help.
Oh,
to
V's
help
gonna
her
help
get
save
out
the
of there.
president. What the
But it's
hell?
not the only like face of Myers. Let's say she's also a very capable and like logically thinking politician. At the same time, she has this human aspect to her, and like there will be moments
Mother?
where like emotions take over, let's say. So I hope players will find her like a complex and interesting character.
Yeah, she looks freaking amazing. Okay, next up we have some giant thing waking up.
Yeah, what
And
is this?
What is that thing? Looks scary. Am I supposed to be afraid of that?
Well,
Yes.
you might. Yeah, this is Militech Chimera. It's part of this Militech equipment left behind during the
Militech
last
always makes me
corporate
think of
war.
Edge
A
Runners.
remnant, you could even say a ghost of the past, actually, but maybe some things shouldn't be left behind because in the wrong hands they can cause a total mayhem, which might be a case in this in here as well. Chimera is equipped with all kinds of weapons and might or might not be obstacle on these adventures.
Might not
looks
be
like
an
it's gonna be a
obstacle.
challenge. We'll see.
He's
He
giving
he
nothing
did the
away, I love
eyebrows and that's it. Okay, I get it. Next up, star power. Idris Elba,
Here we go,
aka
Idris.
Solomon Reed. Important
That jacket,
character
I
for
need
his
that
story,
jacket.
But how important, and what's his relationship to V?
One of the most important, actually, I would say that together, with Reed, V, and Songbird are like three most important characters here. Reed is this kind of guy that if you want to change a government in another country, this is the guy you send there, and it just kind of
What?
happens. No one ever finds out how.
Nice.
And,
Oh, he's like an
but
undercover
it did happen.
agent.
A master spy working for
Master
NUSA
spy.
for many years, recruiting agents, doing those kinds of like super difficult
Oh
missions.
shit.
Around 7 years ago, put on a back burner.
Remember
became a
seeing this
sleeper
clip for the
agent.
first time?
Now,
That was so
during the course
exciting.
of Phantom Liberty story, he's woken up again and
Nice.
will be working closely with V on a mission in Mission Dogtown. It's not always gonna be necessarily super smooth, but well, conflict is storytelling, so it's like what we want here.
Perfect.
And as with Myers and any other character, like we try to create a complex, layered character. Even more
They're so
if
good at
he's such an
characters.
amazingly cool
All the
actor,
characters they
Idris
build
Elba,
up
to
are
play
just
him
so
you
like
want
that.
to get the most out of him. And so Reed is, for example, he's super loyal, but those loyalties they can clash sometimes. He's both loyal to the greater good, the safety of the country, of the state, but he's also very loyal to the people who are close to him.
I wonder is that the
And
first
at the
time
same
Idris
time,
Elba
there are,
has done like
certain
motion
principles
capture
inside
like
him,
this.
which he also wants to stay true to. And those loyalties, sometimes they might
I love that.
pull him into different directions, push and pull and so on, and he'll be facing some difficult choices, which V will also have a chance to like affect.
Yeah, it's amazing that you mentioned this because whenever you guys create characters, I feel like they have, like you said, like different directions that are kind of pulling on them, and they're not very like linear. They're not like, okay, this
It's
is my
never
one
black and
loyalty
white.
motivation.
It's
There's
never,
multiple
ever
things,
black
which
and
makes
white.
them more relatable and makes them more human in this case.
It's also an interesting part of like writing process, really, because first when you create characters, usually they are a little bit more like functional or like a little bit
I bet it's really hard to
but
write
then
a
with
character
every dialogue you write,
that you
every
like
rewrite,
go
every
through something
iteration of
bad.
the story, they kind of become like full and become their own characters in a way. And in the end, you feel it's actually a person and not just this like design you made.
Not like a fairy tale.
I think we went through this path with Reed as well.
Yeah, amazing stuff. I can't wait for players to actually discover it for themselves and have their own opinion on the character, because I feel like
Burza is
opinions
so
about
great.
characters is something that we're kind of known for, and something that the community always dissects and then has like these, discussions on social media talking about like, do I like this character or dislike this character? So it's something really
This is what I'm really hoping for in this
Oh,
season.
Perfect.
I like this guy.
All right, moving on. Next up, we have a character changing her appearance, and this is something
Oh,
that we
yeah.
haven't seen before. Is this something just kind of playing into the spy genre, spy theme of the expansion?
Have I met
What I
him?
really
Yes,
love
I met
about
Burza a
games
couple
is
times
that
last
they
summer.
are usually just much bigger than movies, just in terms of like pure runtime of hours to spend with it.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah, that whole
you
changing
don't really
appearance
want
thing was
to
pretty strange.
Spend all this time just like in just one. One approach, one angle to it.
I remember in the
And
first
spy
teaser there was
thriller
like a
is very,
mask of some
potent
sort,
and
wasn't
rich
there?
genre you can take from different places. And there are like different fantasies to it. So you
This
have this
pyramid's quite
super
cool.
agent fantasy, right? Which is like Mission Impossible or James Bond, cool gadgets.
There, the mask, that's the
good
mask I was
use
just
of
talking
them,
about.
Being super cool and smooth and so on. And this, for example, would be aspect of this, but we also got inspired by many like other things. You can have different approaches. You can have this Born, which I personally really love this series. When it's just one man against the agency, against this power, trying to escape and like outsmart them. You can have this fantasy from like Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy, when you actually work for the agency, but it's this crazy intrigue of
Which
like,
guy did name me? I met
and,
Burza, the guy who's
super
kind of
smart
doing the
people
interview.
trying to outsmart one another, and you just have to be the top dog in this case. There's the spy game, and first and foremost though, we tried to draw inspirations from actually real world.
places.
Yeah. From books, interviews, reportages about real agents, real spy operations that happened all around the world. We always in our games try to create this like grounded base. So it's not just like
I'm actually really excited. I like hearing them talk about where they get their
but there's something really
inspiration
true
from.
and relevant to it.
I'm really
And so
keen
in
to
the
watch
end,
Blade
you
Runner
kind
soon,
of try to end up with something that's
which I feel
both,
like overlaps with this a
cool
lot.
and recognizable, but at the same time real and unique.
Yeah. And also the setting, right? Night City also is something, and actually Cyberpunk as a genre kind of plays into this, because the high tech and also kind of everything being kind of dark. It kind
Dark
of plays
and
to
gritty.
the whole thing. Plus, then you, like you said, you have the movies. You also have real spies, so actually real people who worked in the field, and you're also pulling from all these directions and adding the cyberpunk motif and theme to it, and actually building this.
This whole set they're doing this interview in, by the way.
Yeah,
Very
exactly.
cool.
In the end, we want to end up with something new and unique and fresh, and like I'm always looking for something that hasn't been done before, and like, or maybe not in this way. And we try to put our own spin on this. We added even a little spice of 80s and 90s action movies, which I think make it all a little bit more just dense and exciting. And yeah, I hope it worked out.
Last question
Aww.
and last clip that we're seeing, a character that we see appear quite a
Songbird.
few times throughout the video that we just saw. Who is she? Because she
Who
seems like
is
she's very
she?
important to V and also to Solomon Reed in some sense.
Yeah, exactly. The third, I would say, most important character in the story, next to Reed and V. Personally, my favorite one.
Aww.
I think it's because she is just, for me at least, she feels so similar to V in certain ways.
That's cute.
I always imagine that maybe in another universe it could be actually V who's working for NUSA and Songbird being the street punk, really. And I hope players will perceive her, that was at least our goal, as kind of a mirror to V and to themselves, that by interacting
She seems like a
with
friend.
Songbird,
I hope they
will gain a
don't
new
make her like
perspective
betray.
on V's motivations, V's actions,
I can't cope.
V's goals. And yeah, it will just like make Songbird somehow interesting to them. But actually, you played the game, so like, what was your take
Oh,
on
he's
her?
played it!
Actually, it's one of the characters that I instantly fell in love with. But I also see that she might be a character that some players might not enjoy, because she also has a lot of layers to her and the motivations and what she does, and also how she's kind of
He's like, yeah, I
interacting
played
with
it.
me
I
can be
played it.
seen as helping or maybe not exactly. I don't want to spoil anything. But yeah, she seems to be kind of like this divisive character.
It must be so hard not to
actually, we
spoil.
had plenty of internal tests. Our whole, not only dev team, but everyone in the studio playing the game.
True.
And we're asking people how they felt about different characters. And in regards to Songbird and actually many other characters, which I'm very happy about, she was divisive.
How
like some
chuffed is
people were
he?
like, oh, I just empathize with her so much. She's, you know, she's my kind of person. And others were like, I absolutely don't understand her and like don't want to support her in any way. And I think it's great. Actually, I'm really happy.
Okay,
about
I don't know how I'm gonna feel
because
about Songbird.
I think like really good characters don't have to be exactly always likable. You have to be able to understand them and empathize with them. You don't have to like them. And it's just like with real people, right? It's not like everyone likes everyone. We are different.
Exactly.
And this is where the magic is, I think, of like being real.
Yeah, that's something
I
that
love this
we
guy.
actually
I need to
talked
find this
about
guy on
before.
Twitter, Igor.
This is what makes characters real and relatable, that they're human. Like, they have different motivations. They are, you know, they're not, like we said previously, they're not linear. They have different things that are pulling them from different directions. And that's what makes
That's why
it
we like
really
the
cool.
characters in Game of Thrones too.
Igor,
Nobody's
amazing stuff.
good and bad.
Thank you so much for diving with me into the narrative part. Super interesting. It's really also good to know that you like when players are, you know, not agreeing in terms of like who they like or dislike. So that's also very important. Thank you for joining us. I hope you enjoyed this exclusive deep dive into the official trailer. There will be more information coming about the expansion, so stay tuned to learn more.
Yay, Burza! That was awesome. That was awesome. I love watching. I could sit and watch videos like that of people talking details. I could watch that for hours. I love that guy, Igor, mentioned that he wants everybody to disagree on characters. I can just imagine a week or so after this game drops, he's just going to be sitting on Twitter watching people argue about Songbird, about Solomon, about Hansen, just enjoying the story that he's put out there. That's so cool. And that's also why I enjoy watching like Paweł Sasko's streams as well, because he talks about game development just as he plays the game. I think what a cool niche for a stream. I hope we get more developer videos because that was pretty cool to see.